fights. And we open the card tonight with a 10-round super middleweight bout. The middleweight champion, Mike McCallum, going up against Frankie Minton. Two fighters, Sean, who have been around since the early 80s. McCallum was the junior middleweight champion, now reigns as the middleweight champ. Goes up against Minton, who once was in the top 10 in the super middleweight division, a journeyman fighter who is now looking for the home run ball. Last fight was against Virgil Hill. He was stopped in the ninth, and tonight goes up against McCallum. What do you think the thoughts are of these two fighters as they approach the ring tonight?
Well, they both better be concentrating on this fight tonight. McCallum has already signed a April 1st date with Sambu Kalambe, a fighter that once beat him. So he's going to be focusing on Minton tonight. Minton is a very dangerous opponent. First of all, he's a sleeper, a journeyman, as you said, and he's got a powerful punch.
And consider this, that Mike McCallum hasn't fought since last April. That's 10 months ago, and that's the longest layoff that he has encountered in his 10-year career, and it is a cause of some concern for the champion. After his defense against Donald Curry, he moved up to the middleweight division. He now has 2 middleweight title defenses under his belt. Why did the champion wait so long to get back in the ring? He was waiting around for the big money fight that never materialized.
Well, there was some rumors, I should say, about a fight with Michael Nunn, which we were waiting for the fight, hoping that the fight would, of course, be possible, be made. And just to find out that my attorney found out that it was just smoke in the air. So that enabled us to get a fight going. We didn't want to fight before if we fight Mike now. We wanted to wait for Mike Nunn because that's a big fight for Mike McCallum, and also it would be a big fight for Michael Nunn. So,
could we see some ring rust?
Well, definitely. You know, I'm only human.
And here is the scene at the Kemper Arena. Most of the fans have come here to see the hometown fighter Tommy Morrison, and this is an extra added bonus as they take a look at world champion Mike McCallum. Let's take a look at how these two fighters size up. The 34-year-old McCallum going up against the 32-year-old Minton. McCallum 2 inches taller. They both weighed in at 168.5. Minton, who has been fighting super middleweights and light heavies, actually comes down to 168.5. And McCallum fighting over the weight of his championship, so of course that would not be endangered. The rules here in Missouri: 3 knockdown rule is in effect. Standing 8 count is not in effect. You can be saved by the bell only in the final round, and the scoring on the 10-point must system. It is a casual walk to the ring for champion Mike McCallum, who is actually in this fight, Sean, looking to get in a good 8 to 10 rounds, wants to get in some work. He is also followed in the ring by the veteran trainer Eddie Futch, who's now working his corner.
And I am really surprised that he's not broken a sweat yet. He could get caught cold. He says that he has a little bit of ring rust, but the best way to get rust off is to oil up and get those parts moving.
And in the other quarter, Frankie Minton says he has one fight plan. That's go straight at McCallum and go at him early. We're ready for the introductions of the fighters. Let's go to our ring announcer, Paul Fredrocks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Kemper Arena in Kansas City, Missouri. My name is Paul Fredrocks, and welcome to all of those on the USA Television Network joining us coast to coast tonight. Welcome to Kansas City. It's nice to have you with us. Tonight, our feature bout. Ladies and gentlemen, it's scheduled for 10 rounds. The super middleweight division. Your referee from Kansas City, Missouri is Danny Campbell, ladies and gentlemen. Danny Campbell. The judges scoring tonight's contest are Wendell Allen, Janice Anderson, and Ken Gray. Now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing Introducing the principals. First, in the red corner, right here. Wearing the blue trunks, weighing in at 168.5 pounds, with a professional record of 22 wins, 11 defeats, 1 draw, with 12 knockouts, from Indianapolis, Indiana, Frank Minton, ladies and gentlemen. Also in the feature bout tonight, the opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing the black trunks, weighing in at 168.5 pounds, with a professional record of 38 wins, 1 defeat, and 31 knockouts, from Brooklyn, New York, the WBA middleweight champion of the world, Mike McCallum. A 10-round fight, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, we know the instructions, dress man, follow the rules, obey my commands all the time. Shake hands with a great fight, guys. Keep it clean.
All right, we're going to have a pool to see how long ring announcer Paul Fredrock's voice holds out in this evening of boxing. It is scheduled for 10 rounds, a non-title fight. Mike McCallum, who has an April 1st date, versus Sambu Kalambe in defense of his title. Kalambe served up the only defeat in the career of Mike McCallum, who is 38-1. McCallum had just beaten Donald Curry in his 6th defense of the junior middleweight title, then stepped up to face Kalambe and lost a 12-rounder. Since that time, he has been able to win the middleweight title, beating Harold Graham, and since has had a couple of defenses against Steve Collins and Michael Watson. But that Watson fight, a 11th round knockout, came last April, and it's 10 months since McCallum has been in the ring. And you see he has some excess poundage as he tries to get rid of that, along with some ring rust, preparing for the Kalambe fight.
And that Donald Curry fight, as you mentioned, he knocked him out with 1 punch. He said he was living high off that fight. He was really excited, reading the headlines, thinking that he was a big 1-punch knockout artist. And then he got beat by Kalambe. Boxing is very humiliating. When you think you're the best in the world, that's when you get beat.
Tell us a little bit about his opponent tonight. Does Frankie Minton have it to pull off the upset this evening?
Well, Frankie Minton here in this first round has given way too much room. The only chance that I had given Frankie Minton is to smother McCallum. McCallum's seen all these different styles. He knows how to fight a boxer that knows how to fight. So what I had hoped that Minton would do was confuse McCallum, but he's not doing that here. He's giving McCallum too much room. He's letting McCallum set up his offense and his battle game plan over this fight.
Well, the battle game plan for Minton originally was to go right at Mike McCallum, but he apparently has chosen another course of attack here in round number 1.
Well, how quickly we lose that game plan, especially when we're in there with the world champion.
Although McCallum has done nothing to make Minton lose the game plan.
He's also cautious because he realizes, you know, that the next stop is Sambu Kalambe, April 1st, and he doesn't want to waste anything here.
Minton was ranked number 10 years ago, the WBA top contender in the super middleweight division. His biggest win came against Henry Milligan, a 4th round knockout. He has faced the likes of James Kinchin, put up a tough fight, losing in the 9th round, then losing a rematch. McCallum now is opening up the pace here in the first. Now keep in mind, McCallum, who of course, if he sees the opening, will go and get it. But he is more interested tonight in getting work. He said he wanted to go about 8 to 10 rounds. The Kalambe fight is over the horizon, and he needs to get tuned up. He's been waiting 10 months, hoping that a fight would materialize with Michael Nunn, which would be a big payday, but that did not materialize. Now a word from our local cable systems.
Let's go.
National hero in Jamaica. He's born in Kingston, grew up in Brooklyn. Mike McCallum, who is the champion in the middleweight division in the WBA, is unranked by the other organizations. WBC middleweight champ Julian Jackson, who McCallum beat back in '86. He knocked him out in the second round as junior middleweights. And Michael Nunn, of course, the IBF champ.
They are rival organizations.
Right now in the corner of Mike McCallum is 79-year-old Eddie Futch, 59 years in the business. He has trained 16 world champions. The list including Joe Frazier, Larry Holmes, Michael Spinks, Ken Norton, Bob Foster, Alexis Arguello. McCallum, who has had a long line of trainers and managers. Futch has been on and off with him for 5 years, but he did win the junior middleweight championship with Futch in the corner, as he did the middleweight crown.
Well, they call him Papa Smurf, talking about Eddie Futch, and the reason is he's the Papa of boxing. Very wise. There's a good left hook by Minton. McCallum can't get lazy.
Minton 22-11-1 with 12 knockouts. We talked about some of the fights that he's had. Several years ago, he fought for the NABF title, losing to Anthony Willis. Stopped in that fight. He's had fights with Chris Teozo, now a champion. Stopped in the 6th round. He beat Nicky Walker. Walker, then a top 10 super middleweight. Lost to Frank Linderstein in France. Stopped in the 10th round. And the last fight going up against Virgil Hill, a non-title fight in October of '90, and went into the 9th round before that fight was stopped. And right now, Frankie Minton being very honest about his career at the age of 32. Sean O'Grady last night asked Minton, what are you trying to come out with in this fight? And Minton said, a payday.
Got to make the house payment. He found out about this fight 2 days ago. But Minton is a guy that tries at least. You got to give him some credit. At least he's throwing punches. Said he was going to take this match just 1 round at a time. And right now, McCallum has given him the room to go a few rounds. McCallum, although in that first round, he was trying little things. He tried a right hand that rocked Minton. He dug down to the body that rocked Minton. Minton, though, threw a good left hook earlier in this round. That's Minton's best chance. Wind up and throw something hard. Try to take out McCallum. McCallum will try to set something up.
We're at the Kemper Arena in Kansas City, round number 3. Mike McCallum in the black trunks and Frankie Minton in the blue. And in the first 2 rounds, Sean, you are seeing why McCallum is taking this tune-up fight after being out of the ring for 10 months.
Now, he is an old veteran pro, but his age may be a factor of him being so slow those first 3 rounds. Secondly, the ring rust that he talked about. I mean, not necessarily in that order. No, but the best way to get rid of that ring rust is start moving, get those punches going. And here in this 3rd round, he's finally broken a sweat. It takes a lot of the old-time fighters a few rounds to get loosened up, get those muscles working. McCallum is also 9.5 pounds heavier than he was in his last fight, beating Michael Watson at 159 pounds. 168.5 for McCallum. McCallum's fight plan was to box, to move, to go to the body of Minton. Well, he is showing some good movement. To move doesn't mean so much to bounce around on your toes around your opponent. But see the movement, the head movement from him? The nice thing about movements like that is you're still in range that you can retaliate. If you're bouncing around, a lot of times you're not. McCallum has to be one of the oldest current champions at 34. Trying to think of the list of champions. Dennis Andres stands out as one fighter who has to be older, although both Andres and McCallum are certainly questioned about their age. Is McCallum only 34? Regardless, he says he prides himself on being in the best condition, although he has lost quite a bit of that over the last 10 months. Here's a fighter in McCallum that's 34, and Ray Leonard at 34 says that his career is over.
The uppercut.
McCallum does say, I've taken good care of my body. I've, trained for every match. Look at him go downstairs to that body. He realizes that that's bread and butter down there.
And now upstairs, and he is really bothering Minton here in the third round.
Now, these are not real hard punches that he's throwing. He's putting them out there, setting them in on his opponent's face, getting him used to being hit. Now, he will load up on him a little bit later. He's trying to get the work, trying to wear off the ring rust. Unfortunately, there's no place to get rid of that ring rust except in the boxing ring. The night of the fight, in front of a crowd, in the heat of life.
But it's not bad getting rid of the rust in a workout and getting paid for it, too.
Absolutely. That's a great thing about fighting. That's why I fought instead of worked out. When you box, you get paid for it. When you work out, the only thing you get bumps and bruises.
Round number 4, Mike McCallum, the middleweight champion in a over-the-weight non-title fight, fighting as a super middle, at least that weight tonight, 168.5. Frankie Minton weighing in at the same weight. Minton has been fighting essentially as a super middle and also fighting as a light heavy. So far through 3 rounds, Sean, McCallum in control of this fight, getting the workout that he desired.
And he's staying low. See him lower his center of gravity. He's bending his knees. He's working the shots that he wanted to. Now, between rounds, this is a real pro. Eddie Futch. Now, here's a point where the referee could step in and stop the fight. Right here, McCallum, unless he wants to work, can just throw everything he's got and the referee will stop it. There's Minton fighting back finally.
But staying in the corner.
Well, if he's not punching back, the referee will stop it.
McCallum 38-1 with 31 knockouts. Well, only 12 of those have come in the first 3 rounds. McCallum generally wearing his opponent down.
Well, McCallum is following instructions to the T. Eddie Futch said, throw a lot of little shots upstairs to his head, look at this, and then dig the body.
And now the referee, Danny Campbell, is calling for the doctor. And that is why. Those little shots to the head adding up against Frankie Minton.
You bet little shots like that, a preponderance of punches do add up. They cause more damage many times than one punch knockout blow. The knockout blow, you're out, you don't get hit anymore.
Doctor suggests to stop it. Doctor cannot stop a fight in Missouri, but Danny Crawford certainly taking the advice of the physician, and he has stopped the fight here in round number 4. And I think the biggest one who was disappointed that it was stopped was Mike McCallum. The way this one was going, certainly enjoyed this workout. But this is where it was stopped, Sean, in the corner here in the 4th round.
And just getting some work. They told him between rounds, go upstairs, make him go for the headshots, bring his hands up, and then dig the body. And here he is upstairs. The little punches like this are adding up. They're hurting Minton here, and then downstairs to the body. Then he goes back up to the stairs. You work those hands. You work your hand on your opponent just as if they're yours.
Sean, do you think McCallum may have to fight another tune-up before Callum Bay? Do you think he got enough work here tonight?
Well, just going through the training routine, getting ready, getting prepared to box in a ring, and getting out there and showing just a little bit. All you want with a tune-up is just that, just a tune-up. You want a little bit of competition, not too much, though.
And we'll be back and talk with the champion Mike McCallum when we return to Kansas City. From ring announcer Paul Fredrocks.
Ladies and gentlemen, the doctor stops the fight due to a cut above the right eye at 121 in the 4th round. Ladies and gentlemen, our winner in the blue corner with the black trunks, Brooklyn, New York, the WBA middleweight champion of the world, Mike McCallum. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike McCallum.
121 of the 4th round. Mike McCallum goes to 39-1, scoring his 32nd knockout. For the local stations, we pause for these words, and we'll be back with Mike McCallum in just a moment. WBA middleweight champion Mike McCallum in a tune-up fight tonight stops Frankie Minton at 121 of the 4th round on a cut. And Mike, you had talked about this fight. You were looking to get in 8 to 10 rounds as a tune-up for Sambu Kalambe. Didn't work out that way. You think you may have to have another tune-up?
No, I'm ready for Sambu Kalambe now. I'm on a mission, and it's the first stop. My next stop is Monte Carlo, where I'll see Sambu Kalambe. Believe me, I'm ready.
Mike, what is it about this fight that tells you now, hey, I'm ready for Kalambe?
Well, I've been on for 10 months, and like you asked me before if you'll see rust, and I explained to you that I'm just human. But tonight, my punches were very precise. I was off a little bit in some spots of the round. I was followed behind in the first round, and I started stepping across, cut the ring off. And I've been working on that in the gym a lot. Sambu Kalambe is somewhat a runner, boxer runner.
What did it feel like fighting this at 168 and a half?
Well, ironically enough, I felt very good. I felt very strong. I don't know the way I look because I wasn't looking at myself yet. I had to see the tape, review the tape.
You looked heavier than you generally look, yes.
Yeah, I felt strong.
Now, wait a second. Any thoughts? You've won the junior middleweight championship. You've won the middleweight. Could it be over the horizon, the super middleweight?
Quite possible. Yeah. I feel good tonight. And I have to get 1 or 2 more fights to really see how I really feel at the weight. But I felt good tonight. And I feel my performance was, after 10 months, I think was okay, you know. I'm a perfectionist. I like to be exact, precise in everything I do. But I think I was okay tonight. And 2 more months, 5 or 6 more weeks training for Kalambe. We'll put me right where I'm at, drop a couple pounds, and I'll be all right.
Mike McCallum, the WBA middleweight champion. He has a record of 39-1. His lone loss came at the hands of Sambu Kalambe. He has a date with Kalambe on April 1st. We'll be back for more in just